Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition. And today, though I've been putting this off and putting it off, I got the Kickstarter Kittens and Beasts a while ago. I've been putting it off waiting for Resvon to get here to kind of work through this game that I got for her. Sorry. But I figured today I'd bring you Isle of Cats, a playthrough. This game is by the City of Games and the designer's Frank West, which you won't find on this box. There's a little bit of there's no hubris involved, right? Words are always, when I'm recording, they slip from me. But anyways, so Frank West is the designer. The City of Games is the board game company. The standard mode, you can have 1 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes for ages 12 plus. The family mode, which is just a little more basic, is 2 to 4 players, 30 to 60 minutes, and it says it's for ages 8 plus. So we'll run through the setup really quick, and then we'll go through the how to play. So let's go with the setup. Now I might do this a little off order from what the book says, because now I got to remember it off the top of my head. Oh, no I don't. Hey, look at this. Got it right here. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll run through the setup, and I'll try to make sure I follow what the book says. All right, so first what we want to do is we want to put the island down, and we want to put it with the red cat side up. See the little red cat down here? I know you do, because this is for the standard mode. The red cat signifies standard mode, and then when you flip it over, you have a green cat, which signifies the family mode, the easier mode, right? Now, one of the things that I will say before I get way into this is it looks like there's a lot going on, but once you kind of get the rules in your head, once you play around or so, it's actually kind of simple. So let's get through this setup. So we have the island out. We take Vesh's boat. This is Vesh's little boat. Toot toot. And we put it on the 5. I don't think it's a steamboat, but there you go. All right, then we put out our common treasures, which are more an orange color as opposed to rare treasures. All right, so we put out our common treasures. And because we're set up for a 2-player game, we have 5 of each treasure set out. Once these treasures run out, no more treasures. Same with the Oshaks. So the next thing we do is we pick 6 Oshaks, and we put 6 Oshak tiles out. Same thing, once these 6 Oshak tiles are gone, then there's no more to grab. Next, what we do is we put out the cats, the fishes, the baskets. So we have our cats here. And like I said, this is from the latest Kickstarter. So I have the big 2-minute box. It's supposed to help you put it out, take it out and put it away quicker, which has these wooden components, which actually are really nice. But I don't know what comes in the base game because I've got the base game with the recent Kickstarter. So I got it all together. I do know the base game has cardboard fish. I know that much because I have some of them in here. And then the wooden fish. So, all right, back to it. Putting the supply out. So we have the fish out, we have our baskets out, and we have our cats out. That is all done. We have our discovery cards. These are all these blue-backed cards. We have a big stack of discovery cards here. Have them out. They're shuffled up and everything. All right. Then we go ahead and we put out the baskets, which I already have over here. I just leave them in the little tray, but if you wanted to follow, they say the baskets are supposed to go under there. These are more permanent baskets. I just find it easier to keep it all in that little tray. All right, baskets are out. We have our discovery bag, which is right here. A big old bag of cats. I guess I'll show you guys this bag, right? A big old bag of cats. All right, so we have our discovery bag out in reach of everybody. Then you set up your players. So each player gets a player board. You can randomly put these out. The boards are different in the sense of where the rats are. The rooms are the same. We'll talk about rooms here in a minute. The rooms are the same placement from what I can tell. Yes, rooms are the same, but the rats, where the rats are different. If you notice, the back of this boat only has 1. This one has 3 rats. So the placement of the rats are different. Then you get some artistic changes with like the swordfish, and that has squid and things like that. But beyond that, the general shape of the boat is the same. So each player, give them a boat. You want to make sure that the red cat side is up, and this is where you find the cat, up here in the turn order. All right, and then you go ahead and they say you randomly choose which player goes first and then you let them pick their color, right? So it seems a little weird. How I've done it is I let the players pick their color and then they pick, this is, I'm pretty sure, part of the big 2-minute box or during that Kickstarter. These are the fancier ones, cats. These are the regular cats, I believe, that come in the base game. So what you would do is you would get 2 of them, have someone pick a color. Either if you have the base game, you grab 2 of these. If you have the bigger, fancier version, you have this cat. And so you take one, so you know which player, which color is connected to which player. You take their other cat, either the regular size one or these fancy ones if you have them. I say you kind of shake them. If it's a 2-player, I do a double fist, let the other player pick which one, and then you go ahead and place them down. Now this is setting up turn order for certain parts of the game. So this means this is the first cat, so the white player would be the first cat, and then the purple player would be the second cat. All right, and then you make sure that each player, and maybe I did this out of order, but you make sure each player has 1 permanent basket. So they have their permanent basket right there. All right, and that is the setup for the game. Now we're ready to dive into what might look like it's difficult or a little complex, but it's not. And I'm going to try to explain it to you guys as clearly as possible. So I'm going to explain it based off of the round summary, which you have on the board. So if you have this game at home, it's probably why you're watching it. Maybe you're watching it because you just like our videos, maybe, or you want to know if you want the game. But you can follow at home if you have it. There is a round summary right here. It's the best way to kind of set up how you play the game. So at the top of the round summary, it says add 2 cats per player to each field. These are considered your fields. In the book, I think it talks about a left field and a right field. I think it's easier to say a 3 field, which means all the fish over here cost 3, and a 5 field, which means all the fish on this side cost 5. Since we have a 2-player game, we have 4 on both sides, which we randomly, the first player goes ahead and does this and they grab things out of the bag. I'm going to, I thought I saw one. I'm going to go ahead and grab this just to show you guys something. You're not supposed to look, you randomly grab them. If you pull, while you're setting up the fields, if you pull any rare treasures, you go ahead and just set them out and then you put the cat, replace it with the cat, right? And so this is why we have some rare treasures already set out here, because while setting up the fields here, 3 rare treasures came out of the bag. So you're blind grabbing them out of the bag. All right, so now that our fields are set up, then you go ahead and you do your fishing. All fishing means is at the beginning of each round, each player gets, if I can get them to come out, 4 fish. I probably should have set this up too, but I didn't because I wanted to make this live action. All right, so each player gets 20 fish. At the beginning of each round, this happens because this is the round summary. All right, so now we did the fishing part. The next part is the explore stage, and there's 2 parts to this. There is the gathering, the drafting of cards, and then there is the paying for the cards that you want to keep. So what happens is the first player deals 7 cards to each player at the table. So let's go ahead and do that. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. All right. Now, the first player is dealt the 7 cards to each person. Whoop. You're not supposed to let people see the cards because you're trying to pick. Now, this is a drafting. If you've ever played a drafting game, you pick what you want from this and then you pass on. So you're going to pick 2 cards. So you look through these cards, and I'm just going to do this really fast, but I'm going to pick 2 cards, put them face down, right? And then I'm going to take whatever the leftover cards and pass them to the person to my left. Now this is kind of interesting. I realized last night when we played this game, we messed it up. On rounds 5, 3, and 1, you pass to your left. On rounds 4 and 2, you pass to your right. It's just kind of mixes it up. Doesn't really matter, but just remember 5, 3, 1 to your left, 2 odds to your left, right, and 4 and 2 evens to your right. Anyways, so purple player passes those to white player. The white player looks through their cards. They're like, what do I want? I think I'm gonna grab these two, right? And then once they pick their two, they go ahead and pass over here, and then you go through the same thing again. Purple player, well, they pass their left, purple player picks it up, looks through, trying to decide what they want. They don't know. This seems like a lot of crazy stuff. We're gonna go with that. They're gonna go ahead and set those down, pass their 3 cards here, right? This player takes the cards, white player takes the cards purple gave them, they glance through them, right? They go ahead and say they want that card, and they're gonna take that card. They're gonna pass these 3 here. All right, now we're back over here to the purple player. And one thing that we did find out, it's best to pick your 2 cards, hold your cards to pass till everybody's picked their 2 cards, then pass. So you don't have the shenanigans of mix-ups, which happen with lots of drafting games when you do this stuff. All right, so now I have 2 more cards. I go ahead and look through them. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. I might as well take these 2. Pass this here. The white player looks at the cards that they were given. They're like, I guess I'll take these 2 and I'll pass this one over here. Once a player, that single card gets passed, you just keep that card, and this is now your hand. This is the first, the drafting is the first part of the explore phase. All right, so white has their hand of cards, purple has their hand of cards. Then what they do is they go ahead and they decide out of their hand of cards, oh, my mic's all kind of set funny, sorry. Out of their hand of cards, they decide what they want to keep. And what they're deciding, we'll go through how these cards work in the different colors as we go through the different phases. I think that's the easiest way to explain the cards. So what they're deciding is how many fish they want to spend. In the upper left, you have the amount that each card costs, right? So there's a half a basket, right? For 0. I mean, maybe we want to keep that one. I mean, it's a 0 card, right? This is a 5, but this is a rare find, and it says Oshak's down here. There's another rare find we'll see in the other, which is rare treasure. This is a rare find. They're going to go ahead and keep that. They think that's pretty good. You know what? They like that public lesson. They're going to keep that one. Then they're going to go ahead and keep these 2. I might have overspent here, but we will see, right? Then with these 2 cards, they're not going to keep them, so they're not going to pay for these cards. You go ahead and take them face down, you put them in a discard. I tend to put the discard sideways so you don't mix up the discard from the main deck. Now we'll just go through it really quick with the white player. We're gonna say they want to keep these because there's some baskets, right? And the other players, you know, you're not showing them your hand that you've bought. They don't get to see it. Then this is what I was talking about, the treasure cards, where it lets you take any rare treasure or 2 common treasures. This one, any 2 small, I'd pay a fish to get any. So we're gonna go ahead and do that one. Then we have some lessons. We're gonna go ahead and do that one. And maybe that one. It's a lot of points there. Yeah, we'll do those cards. I'm going to set this like this so I can talk to you guys about a card. All right. So once they have picked their cards, right, that they want to keep, they have to pay for the cards to keep them. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These count as 5. It looks really weird, but there's 2 fish in the back there at front. So 9. So I would get rid of those and I would keep this. And one of the reasons you're not buying all the cards is you want to be able to pay for the cats, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now this player has 6, 7, 11. So they spent a lot. So here's 10, 15, and they would get 4 fish back. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Like I said, these hands, no one gets to see these hands, right? They're we're showing them to you so you guys can see what's going on. All right, so once you've done the drafting part and you've chosen what cards you want to get rid of and what cards you're keeping and then paid for your cards, Then you're done with the explore phase. You go to the phase it's called read lessons. Now, in a read lesson phase, you look at your hand and you look at what lessons you have. Now, there's two different types of lessons. You have, and you could tell down here, you also could tell by the border, blue is lessons. It says public lesson, and I believe we put a regular lesson in this deck. Yeah, we did. And then we have regular lessons. See, they both have blue borders. So, if you have a public lesson, you go ahead and put that out for everybody to see. And I'm kind of just moving back and forth. Everybody gets to use this lesson at the end of the game to score. And we'll go over that at the end when I'm talking about scoring. All right. So during the lesson phase, purple player had a public lesson. They went ahead and put it out for everybody to see. Now the white player has a blue lesson. They don't show anybody this lesson. But what they'll want to do is they leave the lessons so people can count how many lessons they have. People aren't allowed to look at the lessons, but they're allowed to count how many lessons each player has. Right? This one, for instance, is 1 point per lesson card in front of you. In front of you means your cards. Public cards don't count as your lesson cards in any way. These are public cards. Right? And I guess I can read this public card. All players get 5 points per treasure map they have not yet covered. Right? So if you don't cover treasure maps, and we'll talk about treasure maps when we talk about placing the cats. All right, so that's lessons, right? Purple decided they had a public and they put it out for everybody to read, a public lesson, and white had just a regular lesson, which they keep for themselves. They can read it anytime, but no one else gets to see it. All right, so we've read lessons. Now it's the rescue cat phase. Now the rescue cat phase, kind of like the explore phase, has a couple stages in that phase, right? So the first stage is you want to see, I forget the name of it. I'll have to glance at the fancy book over here so I can say the right thing. Speed. I don't know why I couldn't remember speed. You want to set up your speed. So this will also tell you, the bottom of the cards tell you kind of what phase they're for. So rescue, these are all rescues. So we're going to go ahead and play these two, right? So you look at the bottom and it gives you your speed. So there's a 3 boots and 1 boot. So that's a total of 4. But we don't let anybody know. We go ahead and put our speed down there. The other thing you can look at, I'll just show right now, is baskets. Now, 2 broken baskets equal 1 basket, all right? And we'll explain when we're getting the cats why the baskets are important. So 2 broken baskets equal 1 basket. But right now we're checking for speed. So speed, and then we'll go ahead and look at white's cards. They have these 2 cards, and they're looking at how many fish that they can spend too. So they're looking, and they're saying, well, I got 9 fish. Okay, because we're looking at baskets too. So they're gonna go ahead and put out these 2 cards, right? So once everybody's put out their speed cards, then you flip them to determine speed, which is the order in which you are going to play the game. So the cats on the cards mean nothing. Don't let those distract you. So right now we are just looking at speed. We're looking at the speed phase, who's moving faster. So our purple cat, which just happens to have 2 purple cats on their card, our purple cat has a speed of 4. Now our white cat has a speed of 6. So white has a faster speed, they stay here. Now if purple were to have the faster speed, they would move up and be first, and then white would be second. And this is just turn order till the next round where you do speed. If they were tied, if it was 4 and 4, you would keep the order that's here. And you do that with everybody. If you're playing 6 players and maybe 2 of them tie, then they get set in the order. Say they have, based on this, we have 4 and 6. Let's say they have, there's 2 ones and we're doing, a 4 player. So the 2 ones would stay whatever order they're in, they would just get slid down, and then whoever was 6 and 4. So that's how speed works. So now we've determined speed, which sets up our play order. Now it's the second part of the rescuing cats phase. To rescue cats, you need to have fish to feed them, to lure them in, and you need to have baskets to catch them in. It sounds kind of mean, but that's how it works. So you already have 1 permanent basket. Everyone always starts with 1 permanent basket, and there are cards that will allow you to add more baskets to your boat. permanent baskets. Now, the other way you have baskets is, like I said, with these cards. 2 broken baskets equal 1 basket. And then right here we have 2 full baskets. So the white player has a total of 3 baskets, and they have 9 fish. I could do fingers, right? And the purple player has 2 baskets, and they have a total of 11 fish. They have a little extra on their fish, but it's okay. This will work out for the teaching. All right, so how this goes is by turn order, they get a pick. Now remember, this field over here is 3 fish. This field over here costs 5 fish. So to capture a cat, you need 1 basket and then how many ever fish, 3 or 5. So we go ahead and we know white is the first player to go, and they're gonna go ahead and pick a cat. And I'm just gonna do this fast, so I probably won't do this the best way, right? So they're gonna pick this red cat. They're gonna spend a basket. So you just go ahead and discard the card to show that you've spent that basket. And they're gonna go ahead and place their cat. Now the cat can go any way, anywhere they wanna put this. First cat can go anywhere. But you also wanna cover up rats. And we'll explain that in the closing, but we're gonna flip him like that to cover up those rats. Now the other thing that we did, if you noticed, is we covered up a map. Whenever you cover up a map, it allows you to pick any one of these common treasures. So we're gonna go ahead and pick this one. So once you start placing cats and treasures, they place the same way. They have to touch another cat or treasure. So this is not considered touching. Corners, tips are not considered touching, all right? So it's not diagonal, you have to be orthogonal in a sense. Or the other way I usually say it for gamers who are getting into it or easier to understand, flat edges. You have to be able to touch flat edges. So we're gonna go like that. It allows us to cover up all those rats right there. So it gets rid of some rats. So now that white's gone, purple goes ahead and goes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start doing this quickly. Purple has 2 baskets, right? So purple's gonna go ahead and they're gonna grab a blue right there, which cost them 3 fish. Oh, I forgot to have white pay their fish. I'm bad, so there's 2 fish back. White bought a 5, that's pretty easy. They get rid of this one, right? All right. So now purple has gone, they got a blue cat, and they did the same thing. They covered a treasure. We're just gonna go ahead and pick this treasure because it'll cover that rat right there, making it really simple. All right. Then it goes back to white's turn. Now, they have 2 baskets and they have 4 fish because they bought a 5 fish. So what their choice now is the 3 side because they don't have enough fish for a 5 fish. So they're just gonna go ahead and grab this fish. And we're just gonna grab, it's not the best choice, not the optimal, but they're gonna place it. Now they have to place it next to a cat that's already there, right? So they're just gonna go ahead and place it like that, right? They're gonna pay their 3 fish, and they're gonna go ahead and use their permanent basket, which means they flip it over to let them know that that basket's been used for that round. All right, then we go back to purple. Purple used 1 basket, so we'll get rid of these because they already got 1 cat and they spent their fish. They're gonna go ahead and pick another cat. And they are going to pick a blue cat, right? And that means they have to pay their 3 fish. Oops. Let's go ahead and throw them in the right spot. And they're gonna flip their basket. Then they're gonna place their cat. Now, when they place, they can't go outside this white line, right? So I couldn't place like that, plus it's touching diagonal. I couldn't place like that because it's going outside of the boat, which is this heavy white line. But it will fit just like that, right? So we're gonna put the cat there. And you go back and forth until either someone passes or they've spent all their fish or their crates. But here's the thing, I've noticed if you spend all your fish or your crates, you pass. I guess the thing is you might not see things you want. You might have the means to buy and you're like, no, I just pass. So either you pass or you spent all your crates in fish. So at this point, both players need to pass. They have no more crates. They don't have enough fish. So we move to the next phase. So that was the rescue phase. You do the speed, then you rescue and place cats. So the last phase, well, not the last phase because there really is a cleanup, but rare finds. So now we go into rare finds. And you reveal these cards based on the order that's been set up now. So if we look at our hand, purple has one rare find, and white has one rare find right there. They have a treasure, right? So brown and gold or yellow are rare finds. So it'd go in turn order. So white would be able to go first, and if they wanted to, they don't have to, but if they wanted to, they could play this card, right? And this card says take any 2 small treasures. These are considered small treasures. These, and when you can get any of them, it'll just say any 2 common treasures. So these are all common. So they can take any 2 small treasures for playing this card, or they can pay one of their fish if they wanted to, and take any 2 common treasures. So they can pick any of those treasures, right? So they're going to go ahead and play that. So it goes to the discard. They're going to go ahead and do the 2 common, and I'm just doing this to show you guys. You can grab 2 of the same, 1 of 2 of the different small ones, and you just place them. I'm probably not placing in a good spot, but I'm just trying to show you guys how to play. All right, so we're going to place them like that. No, that's bad because that'll cut off that cat. Then those cats won't be touching. All right. Now, after white has gone, now purple can go. They also have a rare find card that they paid a lot for, right? And this one says any Oshaks. So I can pick any Oshaks shape that's right here. Remember, when these run out, they're gone. So I get to grab any Oshaks. So once again, probably not going to be the best pick to be able to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and pick that Oshaks. Places like any cat or treasure, it has to be touching a cat already. And there are some cards that will allow you to place anywhere on the board. That means you could put the cat anywhere. But back to this. So we picked our Oshaks, we placed him there, and we get to pick what color. We're going to say he's blue. So we're going to put a blue cat from the supply on him just to designate that he is blue. So he counts as an Oshaks and as a blue cat. Now, once all that is done, we go into empty the field phase. So what do you do when you empty the field phase? You get to keep any cards you haven't spent. You get to keep those. You get to keep any fish you haven't spent. You get to keep those. Your permanent baskets, you go ahead and flip those back over so you can use them next round. Then we go ahead and we clear the field. So we take all these. These go in the box and they are not used for the rest of the game. So these are just out of the game, period. So you clear the field, and then the last thing you do is you move Vesh's boat up. I believe his name's Vesh. I keep wanting to call him Vishnu, just so you guys know, but Vesh. So you move him up, right? And that's how you do a whole round, right? The one thing that I did forget to do, and I was telling myself in my head I wouldn't forget to do it, before you go into, well, it's anytime. So you could do this at any time. So it could actually be even right now. So the last card that we didn't go over, erase, erase, erase. I did do it right. So the last kind of card to go over is these anytime cards. You can play them at any time, right? It says, this one says discard 1 permanent basket to gain 5 fish. Right now, they wouldn't want to do that because they only have 1 permanent basket. But let's say they had 2 permanent baskets, right? If the white player later on has 2 permanent baskets, they can get rid of this and it'll give them 5 fish. That's some pretty good buying power. And all they would do is take this card and put it over here, do what the card says, right? So they'd get rid of that permanent basket and it would give them an extra 5 fish. And they could do that at any time, literally any time. All right. So back to it. They played their card. We've ended the round. We've cleared the fields. We've moved Vesh's boat up. We flipped any baskets. We make sure we keep our fish. This card, actually, I just noticed it was there, would go away. Even though they didn't use the basket, they played it for the boots. So you clear any of those cards, right? And so now, any cards you didn't actually play, like this one, you get to keep in your hand for later. Fishes you get to keep. All right, and then you just go back to the start of the phase again, and you go through the steps all over again. So you go ahead and fill the fields, you fish, you explore, you read lessons, you rescue cats, you you show your rare finds, right? Discover your rare finds, or however you want to look at your rare finds, and then you empty the field again, so on and so forth. Now you keep doing that, and remember at the end of when you empty the field, Vesh's boat moves up. Once Vesh's boat gets here, so after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, then the game's over. Once the game's over, everyone just counts up their points. And we'll go over this to explain how you count up your points. You also have a pad of paper, right, that you can count your points up on or use it to follow, which goes in a slightly different order, or you can laminate it with horrible laminate like I did, so it's messed up like that. But what I found is the easiest, maybe not with kids, maybe you want those with kids, but what I found is the easiest, you just have everybody get out their phone and they go over this right here, and I'll try to go through it fairly quickly. All right, so first off, you subtract 1 point for every rat that's on the board. So in this case, there's a lot of rats on the board. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, but remember we only went through one round, right? So you would subtract 14. Then you would subtract 5 points for each room that is not filled. So it's hard for you guys to see here, but this is a room, right? This one has little parakeets. This one has wheat. This is a whole room right here. This is a big blank area. This is considered a room, a blank room. You have 2 night rooms. I think they call these bedrooms with the moons on it. Then you have the dining room that has the apple cores. Then you have the parakeets over here too. Now, one thing I realized I didn't say, but hopefully you guys got it from when I was placing, cats can go over walls and everything like that. They just can't go outside the white line of the boat. They have to touch, unless you have that card that allows you to place anywhere, and they can't go outside the white walls of the boat. So these are rooms. Now, one thing I'll say about the -5 for rooms is know that you're going to not be able to, at least my theory is no one's gonna be able to fill all the rooms. Closest I've gotten is having 2 empty rooms, right? So it's almost impossible, I could be wrong, to fill all the rooms. So just accept that you're gonna lose some points on rooms. All right, so after rooms, you take away 5 points for each room. Then you go ahead and look at your cat family, and you have a table right here of cat families. You need at least 3 cats touching to make it a cat family. And then the more cats that you have touching, the bigger your family, up to 10. After that, I can't remember, it says in the book, I think it's like 2 for every, oops, sorry, bumped the camera trying to grab the book to tell you guys things. I think it's 2 points for every so many after. Oh no, it's 5 points. Oh, all right, that's crazy. So for after 8, you get to 8 and then it's 5 points for every one after. They don't have it there, but there's 10 points, or if you have 10 cats, you have 5. Oh, they do have it here, sorry. I'm a little silly, I went through all that for nothing. So you have the breakdown here. You have 3 cats all the way to 10 cats, right? Which will get you a higher amount of points depending on where you go. All right, so you add up the cats. After the cats, you add up any rare treasure that you have on the boat. So let's say that they had this rare treasure. It's 3 points for rare treasure. After the rare treasure, you add up your lessons. Your lessons are the ones right here. These are the lessons played. So this player, if they would get this 1 point per lesson card in front of them, they'd get 1 point just for having this card. And then if they had 3 more, that many points. And then last, you do public lessons. You look over here, and there are good lessons and bad public lessons, right? So you look at the public lessons and you add points to there, right? So this is 5 points for every treasure map that's not covered. So in this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 treasure maps not covered. So there'd be 20 points. But remember, we only played one phase. And then that's how you score through this. Now, hopefully I went over everything and I haven't messed up. I get accused when I play this in person with people of messing up rules and then helping me win. It doesn't work that way. All right. So I'm about 99.9% on this stuff. So there you go. If not, go ahead and hit me up in a comment or ask questions. That's always fine. But that is how you play Isle of Cats, right? From the City of Games and the designer's Frank West. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye.